Becoming successful is simple, but it's not easy. There are tons of distractions in your way all the time, so it's no surprise that highly successful people are creatures of habit. And if you want to avoid overwhelm and keep your eyes on the prize, there are things that you should do on a regular basis. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the top 10 best habits of highly successful people. Hey everybody, this is Antoine Dupont, and on my channel we talk everything business and marketing to help you grow. So the first habit of highly successful people is to set long-term goals that are aligned with your short-term goals. High achievers routinely set SMART goals, and the SMART goals stand for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. If you're watching this video, you're probably already doing this, but don't underestimate the power of aligning your long-term goals with your short-term goals. I have seen it happen too many times. People do important and urgent things that they care about, but they don't seem to get closer to their goals. And it's not because they don't work hard. Without aligning your short-term goals with your long-term goals, you may end up scattered and burned out, even with the best of intentions. Making it a habit to set your goals for 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years is super important. And when you do, write them down. Study shows that people that write down their goals are 20% more likely to achieve them than those who do not. Next, share them with people who care about you and want you to succeed. When JFK said, "We were going to put a man on the moon," he didn't leave a back door to that promise. People held them to account to get it done. And the same applies to Gary Vee, who said publicly that he would own the New York Jets. People now expect him to buy the team. And when Amanda Gorman, the young poet who spoke at Joe Biden's inauguration, said that she would be president in 2036, we now all expect to see her in politics and running for that office. So set your goals and share them with people, and then align them to what you do on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis. And when you do, you will have a path to stay focused on what's important to you. I posted a link in the comment to my own goal setting template, so go and check it out. The second habit of highly successful people is to talk to a mentor or a coach on a regular basis. Figuring things out on your own is very lonely, and you don't have to learn it the hard way. Most of us don't know what we don't know, and who has the time and the bandwidth to learn everything there is to know? It's easy to go down the wrong path or not to see something right in front of your face when you're focused on something else. Having the extra set of eyes and ears of a coach or mentor is a very important habit. It not only brings you the benefit of their expertise, but it keeps you connected to why you're making the choices you're making. It puts things in context, and it can save you a lot of time and money. And let's face it, as loving and caring your wife or your brother-in-law may be, they probably are not the best type of people to go to for that kind of stuff. And whether you have a colleague that has worked the path before you, hire a coach or join a group coaching session, but just put someone on your corner. Build that relationship by asking for advice. You'll find you are able to course correct to reach your goals easier like that. And you may find a valuable friend along the way. Having a neutral and objective sounding board on your side is invaluable. The third best habit of highly successful people is to write your to-do list the night before. If you want to be productive, as soon as your feet hit the ground, you need to know what to focus on and what you should be working on right off the bat. And writing your to-do list the night before gives you that. For years, I would wake up, check my email, see what's going on in the world, and then get started. That only got me so far. Sometime hours would go by before I got into something truly meaningful with my goals. When I started writing my to-do list or my achieve list the night before, I stopped wasting time on things that didn't matter and got more done. I didn't have to suffer through working late to meet deadlines anymore. And as an added benefit, I'm pretty much sure that my subconscious was already working on my to-do list while I was sleeping. By writing your list the night before, you'll be less reactionary and less things will fall through the cracks. And who doesn't like checking off all the things they have accomplished? It's a great way to feel good and pat yourself on the back. So do yourself a favor and write your to-do list the night before. The fourth habit of highly successful people is using a default diary or a default schedule. A default schedule or diary is a calendar with blocks of time that are assigned to specific tasks that you do on a regular basis. Because for the most part, we just do the same thing over and over again. Remember, we are creatures of habit. Even if the tasks are not repeated, the kinds of tasks that we do are. Shifting your mindset from creative visionary work to detail-oriented work takes something. It's not a switch you can easily flip. It takes on average 45 minutes for the brain to readjust after being distracted. So do yourself a favor and stop it. Organizing your days or blocks of days according to patterns of thinking makes good sense. For instance, Monday is creative, Tuesday is sales, Wednesday is bookkeeping, and Thursday is marketing. That is what I mean. I would suggest making a list of all of the things you do on a regular basis and put them into categories. If it's research, don't mix it with networking, unless the kind of research you do comes from meeting and talking to new people, of course. Another benefit of working with the default schedule is that you know automatically when you have time to schedule meetings or calls. If your default diary says that Tuesdays and Thursdays are blocked for appointments, well, then that's when you're open to talk to people. If you block time for special projects and your projects are complete, then you have time to plug in something else into that time until you start a new project. When you know what belongs where in your calendar, then you know what is getting displaced when you bump it. And you'll know how realistic your ambitions are. So using a default schedule keeps you on track and keeps you grounded. The fifth habit of highly successful people is to track your money on a regular basis. This may sound like an obvious thing, but you'd be surprised how many people do not track their money on a daily or weekly basis. Many people look at it monthly, or when it's time for payroll, or when they're worried about it. And by then, it might be too late. There is a simple truth that what you measure will improve. Knowing where you stand with your money on a regular basis keeps you grounded. I recommend setting regular money goals and using a weekly cash flow budget. A cash flow budget tracks what you have now, where the money is coming from, and where it's going, and how long your money will last based on your current projections. It will tell you when you will run out of cash, or when you can afford to make that big purchase, or when to bring on that new team member. Statistics shows that only 32% of people track their budget on a monthly basis. Make it a habit to track your money and know where you stand on a daily or weekly basis. Using this cash flow method will put you heads and shoulders above most people. The sixth habit of highly successful people is to focus on incremental changes. As the saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? Just one bite at a time. Before you make $1 million, you need to be making $1. Then $10, then $1,000, then $10,000, and $100,000. Just small incremental changes along the way. Because those small victories matter and they add up over time. They are the pathway to your success. Think of it this way. If you're playing a round of golf and bet $1 on the first hole, then double it and bet $2 on the second hole and continue that pattern, a person winning all 18 holes will end up winning $131,072. What are some of the small goals that you would like to have in your life or in your business that you could increase by 2 or 5 or 10%? What would your life look like if you did it? It's easy to get overwhelmed and discouraged when we set lofty goals. I know, I've been there. But by making it a habit to set and reset small incremental goals, we achieve more than we can imagine. In essence, we eat that elephant one small bite at a time. Choose something this week that you're going to make small incremental changes to and enjoy the satisfaction that you'll get with it. The 7th habit of highly successful people is to read as much as you can. Highly successful people read a lot. Period. They are in a constant state of learning. Think of it as taking your brain to the gym and imagine your brain getting flabby and out of shape as soon as you stop going to it. It isn't about the number of books that you read or whether you listen to audiobooks. It's about staying in a practice and learning. Expanding your mind and your thinking will serve you and your business. You'll learn how to do things, how to avoid making mistakes, and you'll learn new ways of thinking and looking at things. It's a way to welcome some of the greatest minds into your world. Do whatever it takes, but make it a habit to read and be in a constant state of learning. The 8th habit of highly successful people is to take care of your health. According to the U.S. Department of Health, only 1 in 3 Americans get the recommended weekly dose of physical activity. And only 5% get 30 minutes of exercise per week. Add that to high stress and poor diet, and it's a recipe for disaster. Low energy, burnout, and immune deficiencies are real problems. And the benefits of healthy habits are clear. People who eat well, exercise, and sleep well tend to have improved performance, more endurance, and their minds are more clear and focused. Again, it may not be easy, but it's simple. No matter where you are on the scale of taking care of yourself, there are things that you can do right now. You can block time in your default schedule for exercise and movement. You can save time by listening to audiobooks while you walk. You could clear your mind before going to bed by meditating or writing out your to-do list for the next day. You can pay attention to diet substitute options, especially at networking events. And when you eat, enjoy each bite thoroughly, savor and enjoy it. Chances are you will eat less and be more satisfied. And think about it. Can you really afford to be sick? I know I can't. So do yourself a favor and make taking care of yourself a daily habit. The 9th habit of highly successful people is to network and nurture relationships. Being an entrepreneur can be very lonely at times. Having a deep and wide network is super important. Surround yourself with people who understand what you're dealing with or going through. It really does take a village. And look, 85% of jobs are filled through networking, and referral marketing leads are 60% more likely to close than cold ones. Yeah, network habits matter a lot. So how do you make it a habit to build a network? Here are my 6 suggestions. 1, be genuinely interested in what they do. Ask questions and spend more time listening than talking. 2, show up for them when they need you. Be the person people can count on no matter what. 3, make introductions between your connections. Ideally, you should always ask permission of both parties and make sure they know why you're connecting them. 4, reach out to share information that may help your contacts. It's good to pay it forward and not always be looking for something for ourselves in return. 5, don't ask for anything unless you absolutely need it. Asking too often will make people avoid you. Ask sparingly and only when needed. And 6, be of service without asking for anything in return. There's something about conditional giving that makes people cringe. They'll do it, but I'll think less of you for it. One of my go-to habits is to send a handwritten note to people in my network. I bought a box of 100 cards with matching envelopes, and I have a full roll of stamp with it. I pick someone in my network. Most of the time it's random, and I send them a note to say something like happy birthday, or I love your latest article, or I hope your mom is doing well, kind of stuff like that. Nothing too elaborate, just something just quick and simple. First, it genuinely makes me think of them and what to say. And second, they'll be left with a sense that they matter. And it takes me no more than 10 minutes a week. Make it a regular habit to nurture your relationships. The 10th habit of highly successful people is to take 100% responsibility for everything. As an entrepreneur, it's all on your shoulders, and you can see it as a burden or as a responsibility. The most successful people I know take the buck stops here type of approach. I believe it was J. Paul Getty who said, "You get the employees you deserve." And the same is true for clients, for friends and associates. Also, you get the results that you deserve. They aren't good or bad. You either settle or you don't. You either attract the good ones or not. Blaming others isn't what highly successful people do. The power of taking full responsibility for it all will make you a fierce leader. It has the power to diffuse many situations, and it commands respect. Taking responsibility for yourself and your world means you don't blame the traffic for being late, or your significant other for your bad relationship, or the weather for not being able to exercise. You are the captain of your own ship. You are in charge of your own destiny. So make it a habit to take full responsibility for your world all the time. All right, so that does it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this, I would suggest that you subscribe. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. I would recommend that you watch this video, which is the next best video for you. And until next time, ciao.